The stars shone bright against the black emptiness of space. Captain Tae-ho Kim stood tall on the bridge of his ship. His thick, gray skin reflected the blue lights from the control panels. The hard plates that covered parts of his body showed many small scars from years of fighting and surviving. "Captain, all systems are working well," said Ji-Yoon Park, the ship's navigator. Her voice was low and rough like most Nexans. She tapped on her screen with 6-fingered hands. Each finger ended in a short, tough claw. Tae-ho nodded. "Good. Keep us on course." The Goryeo Fist was the best ship in the Nexan fleet. It was big and strong, just like the people who built it. The Nexans were proud of their ships. They were proud of everything they had built. They had good reason to be proud. The Nexans came from a world called Nexus. It was what space travelers called a Class 12 death world. This meant it was one of the most dangerous planets known in the galaxy. Most alien races came from safe worlds, worlds with gentle weather, few dangerous animals, and easy living conditions. The Nexans were different. Their homeworld had crushing gravity, storms that could flatten forests, and predators that would give nightmares to the bravest warriors from other planets. To survive on Nexus, the Nexans had evolved to be tough. They were shorter than humans, but much stronger. Their bones were like steel. Their muscles were dense and powerful. They had 2 hearts in case one was damaged. Their gray skin was thick and could heal quickly from cuts and burns. "We will reach the trading station in 3 hours, Ji-Yoon said. Tae-ho walked to the large window at the front of the bridge. From here, he could see the stars and distant planets. The Nexans had been traveling in space for over 200 years. In that time, they had met 42 other intelligent alien races. None of them had come from worlds as harsh as Nexus. The other aliens treated the Nexans with a mix of fear and respect. To them, the Nexans were living legends, warriors born on a planet that should have killed them before they learned to make fire. "The galaxy is full of weaklings," Sungmin Yoon often said. He was the ship's science officer and stood now beside Tae-ho. "They evolved on worlds that asked nothing of them. No wonder they break so easily." Tae-ho did not fully agree with this view, but he understood it. The Nexans had fought hard for everything they had. Other races had it easy by comparison. "We are stronger because we had to be," Tae-ho said. "But strength comes in many forms." Sungmin made a sound that showed he disagreed. "No race has faced what we faced. No race has overcome what we overcame. We are unique in this galaxy." This was a common belief among all Nexans. They had searched the stars for decades and found no other species from a world as deadly as theirs. The highest they had found was a Class 8 death world, and even those aliens seemed soft compared to Nexans. The ship's communication system suddenly made a loud noise. Haya Jin Choi, the communications officer, quickly pressed several buttons. "Captain, I'm picking up a signal," she said, her eyes wide with surprise. "It's coming from Sector AX-227. Tae-ho turned away from the window. "What kind of signal?" "It appears to be artificial. Definitely not natural space noise." Hye-jin adjusted some settings on her panel. "It's a repeating pattern, some kind of beacon or message." This was unusual. Sector AX-227 was far from the known space lanes. No intelligent species was known to live there. "Can you tell what it says?" Tae-ho asked. Hye-jin shook her head. "No, sir, it's not in any language in our database, but the pattern is too regular to be random. Someone made it." Tae-ho thought for a moment. New contacts were always handled with care. Some new species were friendly, others were not. The Nexans had fought 3 small wars with other races in the past century. "Change our course," Tae-ho ordered. "Let's find out who's out there." Jin-Woo Kang, the security officer, stepped forward. His hand rested on the weapon at his hip. "Should I prepare the defense teams, Captain?" "Yes, but keep them on standby only," Tae-ho said. "We don't know if this is a threat." The Goryeo Fist changed direction. Its powerful engines pushed it through, space faster than most ships could travel. The Nexans had built their ships to be as tough as they were. "Captain," Sungmin called from his science station. I've done a quick check of our star charts. There's a yellow star in that sector with several planets. The third planet from the star shows signs of liquid water. A potential life world, Taeho said. This was getting more interesting. Yes, but our long-range scans also show something strange. Sungmin looked up from his screen. The planet has extreme weather patterns, high volcanic activity, and radiation levels that should make advanced life impossible. Taeho walked over to look at Sungmin's screen. Another death world? Possibly, but if so, it would be even more extreme than Nexus. The bridge grew quiet. The idea that there could be a world more dangerous than their home planet was hard for the Nexans to accept. How long until we reach the signal source? Taeho asked. At maximum speed. 14 hours, Jiun answered. Push the engines harder. I want to get there in 10. As the ship accelerated, Taeho sent a message to Nexan High Command, telling them about the signal and their change of course. The response came quickly. Proceed with caution and report all findings immediately. For the next 10 hours, the crew prepared for first contact. They studied the signal, trying to break its code. They checked their weapons and shields. They discussed what kind of beings might live on a world even harsher than Nexus. If there really is intelligent life from a higher-class death world, Jinwoo said during a meeting in the ship's conference room, they could be more dangerous than any species we've encountered. Taeho nodded. Or they could be potential allies. Think of what we could learn from each other. As they approached the yellow star system, the signal grew stronger. Heejin worked tirelessly to understand it. Captain, she called out suddenly. I've got it. The signal contains mathematical sequences, basic counting, then geometric principles. It's a first contact attempt. They're trying to show they're intelligent. Can you send a response using similar math? Taeho asked. Already working on it, sir. The Goryo fist slowed as it entered the star system. The crew watched their screens with growing excitement and tension. I'm detecting artificial satellites around the third planet, Sungmin reported. And small spacecraft. They have achieved spaceflight, but their technology seems primitive compared to ours. Scan the planet itself, Taeho ordered. Sungmin worked his controls. Then he stopped, his hands frozen above the panel. Captain, these readings can't be right. What do you see? If these scans are accurate, this planet is a Class 13 death world. The gravity is crushing. The atmosphere contains elements that should be toxic. There are temperature extremes from freezing to boiling. The radiation levels from their sun should cause constant mutations. Sungmin looked up, his face showing rare emotion. No intelligent life should be able to evolve there. Yet the evidence was clear on their screens. Ships made by intelligent beings were moving around the planet. Structures covered parts of the land. Lights glowed on the night side of the world. We're being scanned, Jinwoo reported. Their sensors are simple, but they know we're here. Yejin, have you sent our response to their signal? Taeho asked. Yes, Captain. And they're answering. They're sending a new message with more. Complex mathematics. They're smart, whoever they are. Taeho made his decision. Open a direct communication channel. Let's meet our new neighbors. Little did Taeho know that this moment would change the Nexan Confederation forever. The beings they were about to meet called themselves humans, and they would shatter everything the Nexans believed about their place in the galaxy. The Goryo fist moved slowly toward the blue and green planet. Captain Taeho Kim watched the main screen with careful eyes. The ship's sensors showed small vessels moving around the planet. These ships were simple compared to Nexan technology, but they moved with purpose. They have spotted us, said Jinwoo Kang, the security officer. His hand stayed near his weapon. Several of their ships have changed course. They are coming toward us. Taeho nodded. Keep our shields up, but do not power weapons unless I give the order. The bridge was quiet. Every Nexan felt the weight of this moment. For centuries, they had believed they were special in the galaxy. They were the tough ones, the survivors, the only intelligent beings from a deadly world. Now, they might meet another species like them, perhaps even tougher than them. The approaching ships are small, Sungmin reported from his science station. They appear to be scout vessels. Their hulls are made of simple metals. Their propulsion systems use chemical fuels. Primitive, Jinwoo said, but effective enough to reach space, Taeho reminded him. Remember our own history. We started with simple ships too. Heejin Choi, the communications officer, raised her hand suddenly. Captain, I'm receiving a direct message from the largest approaching ship. It's a basic video signal. Taeho straightened his uniform, put it on the main screen. The screen flickered and then a face appeared. The Nexans on the bridge leaned forward in surprise. The being on the screen looked strange to them. It had no protective plates on its skin. Its face was flat and soft-looking with a small nose and thin lips. It had strange fur on top of its head. But most shocking were its eyes. They were round, white, and looked too delicate to survive on a harsh world. This is Captain Dae-hyun Lee of the Earth Defense Force, the being said. Its voice sounded too high and smooth to Nexan ears. Unknown vessel, please identify yourself and state your intentions. Taeho stepped forward so the alien could see him clearly. I am Captain Taeho Kim of the Nexan Confederation vessel Goryeo. Fist. We detected your signals and came to investigate. We come in peace. The alien captain, this human, showed its teeth in what might have been a threat display, but its eyes and voice remained calm. We welcome peaceful contact, Captain. Kim, this is a historic day for our people. You are the first aliens we have ever met. Taeho was surprised. You have not encountered other species before? No. We have only recently begun to explore beyond our solar system. Taeho and his crew exchanged glances. A newly spacefaring race was always an important discovery. The Nexan government had strict rules about contact with such species. Captain Lee, I would like to meet with you to discuss formal relations between our peoples, Taeho said. Would you welcome a small party from our ship? The human seemed to consider this. Yes, but I suggest neutral ground. We have a space station in orbit. We can meet there. Taeho agreed. He selected a small team. Himself, Science Officer Sungmin, Security Officer Jinwoo, and a medical specialist named Do-Yun Baek. They took a shuttle to the human space station. The station was a simple ring-shaped structure. It rotated slowly to create artificial gravity. As the Nexans docked their shuttle, they prepared themselves for meeting these strange beings face to face. Remember, Taeho told his team, they may look weak, but they evolved on a world even harsher than ours. Do not underestimate them. The Nexans stepped from their shuttle into the station. The gravity felt light to them, about half of what they were used to on their homeworld. The air smelled clean but strange. A group of humans waited for them. Captain Lee stood in front wearing a blue uniform. 4 other humans stood behind him. They were different colors and sizes, but all had the same basic shape. Tall, thin, and soft-looking. Welcome to Earth Orbital Station 1, Captain Lee said. He raised his right hand with the palm facing forward. This is a greeting gesture among our people. Taeho copied the gesture. Thank you for your welcome. The humans led them to a meeting room with a round table. The chairs were too tall and narrow for the Nexans' stocky bodies, but they managed. Your species is fascinating, said a female human who introduced herself as Dr. Mi-sun Han. You appear to have evolved significant physical adaptations for survival. Sungmin studied the humans with equal interest. And your species appears to have evolved none, which puzzles me greatly. Our scans indicate your world is even more dangerous than ours. Dr. Han smiled. We adapted in different ways. We changed our environment rather than letting our environment change us. The meeting continued for hours. The Nexans learned that humans called their planet Earth. They had only united as a global society in the last century, after many wars between their different groups. They had achieved spaceflight only 70 years ago. May I ask a direct question? Taeho said after they had covered the basics. Of course, and Captain Lee replied. How did your species survive on such a deadly world? You have no natural armor. Your muscles appear weak, your senses seem limited. Yet you thrive on a Class 13 death world. The humans looked at each other. One of them, a man named Junseo Choi, leaned forward. We used our minds, he said simply. We couldn't outrun predators, so we made weapons. We couldn't withstand the cold, so we made fire and clothing. We couldn't eat raw meat, so we cooked it. Every problem we faced, we solved with tools and teamwork. Jinwoo frowned. All species use tools. Yes, Junseo agreed, but not like us. It's part of who we are. We don't just use tools, we constantly improve them, and we pass that knowledge to the next generation. Dr. Han added, our bodies may seem weak to you, but they're actually quite amazing in their flexibility. We can live in deserts or Arctic regions. We can eat almost anything. We can run for hours without stopping. And most importantly, we can adapt our behavior faster than evolution can adapt our bodies. As the meeting went on, Taeho began to understand these humans better. They were indeed Deathworlders, but of a completely different kind than the Nexans. Later, the humans gave them a tour of the station. They showed the Nexans their technology, their food, and their art. Everything about them was strange but impressive in its own way. At one point, an alarm sounded. The station shook slightly. Micrometeoroid impact, explained Captain Lee calmly. Nothing to worry about. But Taeho noticed something odd. When the alarm first sounded, every human in the room had reacted instantly, moving to safety positions, checking nearby people, reaching for tools. Their reflexes were surprisingly fast. You responded very quickly to that alarm, Taeho observed. Captain Lee nodded. Survival instinct. We may look peaceful, but we've evolved to react to threats instantly. As the tour ended and the Nexans prepared to return to their ship, Taeho had much to think about. These humans were not what he expected. They lacked the physical strength and natural defenses of the Nexans, but they made up for it with quick minds, adaptable bodies, and surprising technology. We would like to establish formal diplomatic relations, Taeho told Captain Lee before leaving. I will send your message to my government. I believe they will be very interested in your people. As we are in yours, Lee replied. This meeting has opened a new chapter for humanity. What neither of them knew was just how complicated this new chapter would be. The Nexans had always defined themselves as the galaxy's ultimate survivors. Now, they had to share that title with a species that had survived an even deadlier world. Not with armor and strength, but with intelligence and adaptability. As the shuttle returned to the Goryo Fist, Taeho looked back at the blue planet. Earth looked peaceful from space, but he knew better. It was a world of extremes that had forged a species unlike any other in the galaxy. What do you think of them? Sungmin asked quietly. I think, Taeho replied, that the galaxy just became a much more interesting place. 2 weeks had passed since the first meeting between Nexans and humans. The Goryo Fist remained in Earth's orbit. 3 more Nexan ships had arrived to join Captain Taeho's mission. The Nexan government wanted to learn everything they could about these strange new Deathworlders. Taeho stood in the ship's observation room with Science Officer Sungmin. They watched a video screen showing a human settlement in a place called Alaska. Snow covered the ground. The temperature was far below freezing, yet humans walked around in what looked like thin cloth coverings. How do they survive in that cold? Taeho asked. Our people would need heated suits in such weather. Sungmin tapped on his datapad. They call those coverings clothes. They have many layers. The humans trap air between the layers to stay warm. It's simple but clever. Next, the screen showed humans living in a hot, dry place called a desert. The heat there would kill most species. Yet the humans had built cities, with tall buildings. They use machines to cool the air inside their homes, Sungmin explained. They can make any place comfortable for themselves. Taeho shook his head in wonder. They adapt their environment instead of adapting themselves. Yes, and that makes them very dangerous, said Jinwoo as he entered the room. The security officer had been against letting humans visit the Nexan ships, but Taeho had overruled him. Why do you say that? Taeho asked. Jinwoo pointed at the screen, which now showed humans building a dam across a wide river. Look how. They change anything they don't like. They cut down forests, they move rivers, they dig up mountains. What if they decide they don't like us? Before Teho could answer, his communication device made a sound. "Captain, your human guests have arrived," said Hyejin's voice. "Thank you. I'll meet them in Landing Bay 3. Teho and Sungmin walked through the ship's wide halls. Crew members stopped and saluted as they passed. Everyone knew about the human visitors. Many wanted to see these strange aliens for themselves. In the landing bay, a small human shuttle had docked. Captain Daehyun Lee stepped out first, followed by Dr. Mi-Sun Han and 3 other humans. They wore simple blue uniforms. "Welcome to the Goryeo Fist," Teho said with the human greeting gesture. "Thank you for having us," Captain Lee replied. He looked around at the large gray landing bay. "Your ship is impressive. Thank you. Please follow me to the meeting room." As they walked, the humans looked at everything with wide eyes. They seemed most interested in the Nexan crew members they passed. "Your people all have a similar body shape," Dr. Han noted. "Is there much variety among Nexans?" "Some," Teho answered. "Those from the southern regions of Nexus have darker skin. Those from the mountains are shorter and wider. But we all share the same basic traits needed to survive our world." In the meeting room, the humans sat at a table specially made for them. Food and drinks were brought in, both Nexan and human varieties. The humans had sent instructions on what they could eat. "I have questions about your world," Teho began. "Our scans show many different environments: ice, desert, jungle, ocean. How can one species live in so many different places?" A human named Junho Park answered. He was their environmental expert. "We change our behavior and tools for each place. In cold regions, we build warm houses and wear thick clothes. In hot places, we create shade and use water wisely. We can live almost anywhere because we adapt quickly." "But your bodies are the same everywhere," Sungmin said. "You don't grow thicker skin for cold or better lungs for high mountains." "No," agreed Dr. Han. "Our adaptation happens through knowledge and tools, not through our bodies changing." The meeting continued for hours. The Nexans learned many surprising things about humans. They could eat a wide variety of foods. They could go without sleep for days if needed. They could keep running long after most species would stop from tiredness. "There is something else that makes humans different," Captain Lee said. "Something we've noticed about your people." "What is that?" Teho asked. "You Nexans are strong fighters. Your bodies are powerful, but you don't seem to like fighting each other." Teho was confused. "Of course not. Why would we fight our own kind?" The humans exchanged glances. "Humans have fought wars against each other for most of our history," Lee explained. "We only stopped having global wars about a century ago." The Nexans were shocked. Sungmin asked, "You fought your own kind? But that makes no sense. The greatest threat on Nexus was always the environment itself. The storms, the predators, the toxic plants. We had to work together to survive." "That's the difference," Dr. Han said softly. "On Earth, after we mastered our environment, our greatest threat became each other. We competed for resources, for land, for power. This was hard for the Nexans to understand. On their world, survival required cooperation. The idea of humans fighting humans seemed wasteful and strange." After the meeting, Teho offered to show the humans around the ship. They visited the engine room, the food production area, and the training center where Nexan crew members practiced fighting skills. In the training center, a young human woman named So-Yi Kim asked if she could try lifting a Nexan training weight. Jinwoo, who had joined the tour, laughed. "Those weights are designed for Nexan strength," he said. "Even our children can lift them easily." "May I try anyway?" So-Yi asked politely. Jinwoo handed her the smallest weight. It was a metal bar with round ends that weighed as much as 3 human adults. To everyone's surprise, So-Yi lifted it off the ground. Her face turned red with effort, and her arms shook, but she held it for several seconds before setting it down. "Impressive," Jinwoo admitted. "I'm a weightlifter," So-Yi explained. "I've trained my body for strength." This made Teho think. Humans didn't have natural strength like Nexans, but they could make themselves stronger through practice. What else could they change about themselves through effort and will? Later, after the humans had left, Tejo met with his senior officers. They shared what they had learned about humans. They're more dangerous than we thought, Jinwoo insisted. They adapt too quickly, they change everything around them, and they have a history of violence against their own kind. What will they do to other species? But they also create beautiful things, said Do Yun Baek, the medical specialist. Their art, their music, they care for each other. They heal the sick who would not survive in nature. Tejo looked at the reports on his screen. Information about human history, human technology, human biology. So many contradictions. They were violent but peaceful, weak but enduring, soft but surprisingly tough. We need to understand them better, Tejo decided. Tomorrow they have invited us to visit their planet. We will go and see these humans, in their natural environment. That night, Tejo could not sleep. He kept thinking about the humans. For centuries, the Nexans had defined themselves as the galaxy's toughest species. Their strength and endurance were points of pride. Now they had met humans, beings who had survived an even harsher world without the physical advantages Nexans had. What did this mean for the Nexan identity? How would his people react when they learned they were not unique? As the Goryo Fist orbited the blue planet, Tejo wondered what surprises Earth would hold for them tomorrow. The humans were still a mystery in many ways, a strange mix of strength and weakness, violence and compassion, simple bodies and complex minds. One thing was certain. The galaxy would never be the same now that humans had joined the community of spacefaring races. The shuttle flew down through Earth's atmosphere. Inside, Captain Tejo Kim and 4 other Nexans watched through the windows as the blue sky gave way to white clouds. Below them, a vast city spread out along a coastline. Seoul, said Captain Dae-hyun Lee, who sat next to Tejo. One of Earth's major cities, home to 10 million humans. Tejo could hardly believe it. 10 million in one city? Our largest city has only 2 million. The shuttle landed on a flat area on top of a tall building. People waited for them there, some in uniform, others in different colored clothes. Cameras flashed as the Nexans stepped out. These are reporters, Lee explained. They share news with other humans. Your visit is historic for us. A tall woman in a dark suit stepped forward. Welcome to Earth. I am President Min-ji Han of the United World Council. Tejo placed his right hand over his chest, the Nexan greeting of respect. Thank you for your welcome. We are honored to visit your world. The humans took the Nexans into the building. The air inside felt strange to the Nexans, too wet and warm. Sungmin checked a small device on his wrist. The oxygen level is higher than on our world, he whispered to Tejo, and the gravity is lighter. They went to a large room with windows looking out over the city. Tall buildings reached toward the sky. Flying vehicles moved between them. On the ground, smaller vehicles and thousands of humans moved along paths. Your city is very tall, Tejo said. On Nexus, we build low and strong because of storms and quakes. We have those too, said President Han. But we develop materials and designs that can withstand them. The next few hours were filled with meetings and talks. The humans wanted to know about Nexan society, technology, and history. The Nexans asked about Earth and human development. There is something I don't understand, Tejo said during one meeting. Our scans show that Earth has more natural disasters than Nexus. You have worse storms, more active volcanoes, and stronger quakes. Your wildlife includes more venomous creatures than ours. Yet you built all this. He waved his hand toward the window. How did you survive long enough to develop such technology? Dr. Mi-sun Han, who had joined them on Earth, smiled. We nearly didn't many times. Our history is full of close calls where our species almost died out. But each time we learned and adapted, and we're stubborn, added another human. We don't like to give up. After the meetings, the humans took the Nexans on a tour. They visited different parts of the city, markets full of foods and goods, parks with plants and trees, schools where young humans learned. At one school, children aged about 10 Earth. Years gathered around the Nexans. They showed no fear, only curiosity. Your skin looks like rocks, one small boy said to Tejo. Can I touch it? Tejo bent down, surprised by the request. Yes, you may. The boy's small hand felt warm against Tejo's gray skin. It's not as hard as it looks, the boy said, sounding disappointed. Tejo laughed. It hardens when there is danger. Right now it is relaxed. Later, the humans took them to see other environments. They flew over mountains and forests, deserts and oceans. Everywhere humans had built homes and lived. You can see why we are concerned, Jinwoo said quietly to Tejo as they flew over a huge city. They spread everywhere. They change everything, to suit them. Tejo nodded. It was impressive, but also a little frightening. What would happen when humans spread to other worlds? That evening, the humans held a dinner for the Nexans. The food was specially prepared to be safe for both species. Music played, and some humans danced. During the dinner, Tejo noticed a group of humans entering the room. They wore different uniforms than the others, black with red symbols. They spoke with President Han, who frowned. Captain Lee came to Tejo's side. I'm sorry, but there is a problem. A group called the Earth First Alliance is protesting your visit. They believe we should not share our world with aliens. Not all humans welcome us? Tejo asked. Most do. But some fear what is different. They fear change. Before they could talk more, a loud noise came from outside. The window shook. Security people rushed into the room. There's been an explosion at the spaceport, someone shouted. The Nexan shuttle has been damaged. Jinwoo jumped to his feet, hand moving to his weapon. Is this an attack? Stay calm, President Han said quickly. This is the work of extremists, not our government. We will find them and punish them. But the damage was done. News of the attack spread quickly. On the Goryeo Fist and the other Nexan ships, crews went on alert. On Nexus, the High Command called an emergency meeting. Tejo received a message from High Command. Return to your ship immediately. Negotiations are suspended until we assess the threat. The humans provided another shuttle to take the Nexans back to their ship. As they flew up, Tejo looked down at the city lights below. Just hours ago, he had seen Earth as a world of wonders. Now it seemed a world of dangers. Back on the Goryeo Fist, Tejo found his crew tense and worried. They attacked us, Jinwoo said in the command room. This proves humans cannot be trusted. It was a small group, not all humans, Tejo argued. But it shows how they think. They fight their own kind. Now they would fight us too. Tejo tried to contact Captain Lee, but Earth's government was in chaos. The attack had caused political problems. Some human leaders wanted to continue relations with the Nexans. Others wanted to end all contact. 3 days later, a message came from Nexus. Admiral Minho Park, the head of the Nexan fleet, appeared on the screen in Tejo's room. Captain Kim, the High Command has made its decision. The humans are too unpredictable and potentially dangerous. I am coming with the battle fleet. We will establish a blockade around Earth until they agree to our terms. What terms? Tejo asked, his heart's beating faster. They must limit their space travel to their own system. They must share all their technology with us. And they must accept Nexan monitoring stations on their world. Tejo was shocked. Admiral, those terms will seem like threats of conquest to the humans. Then they will have to accept that, Admiral Park said coldly. We cannot allow an unstable species to spread through the galaxy. Nexans have always been the strongest. We must remain the strongest. After the call ended, Tejo sat alone in his room. He thought about the humans he had met, Captain Lee, Dr. Han, the children at the school. Yes, some humans had attacked the Nexan shuttle, but most had welcomed them. Were humans dangerous? Yes, in some ways. But also creative, adaptable, and full of potential. The battle fleet would arrive in 10 days. Tejo had to decide where his loyalty lay, with his people's fear or with the truth as he had seen it. That night, Tejo made a difficult choice. He sent a private message to Captain Lee, warning him of the coming fleet and the Nexan demands. Your people should prepare, Tejo wrote. I hope we can find peace, but you should know what is coming. The human response came hours later. Thank you for your warning, Captain Kim. We do not want war with your people. But we will not surrender our freedom. Earth has faced many threats. We have always survived. Tae-ho looked out at the blue planet. Below his ship, a storm was coming, a clash between two species who had survived the harshest worlds in the galaxy. And he was caught in the middle. Admiral Min-ho Park's battle fleet arrived 9 days after his message to Captain Tae-ho. 12 large Nexan warships appeared in Earth's orbit, their dark shapes blocking the stars. Each ship carried enough weapons to destroy a city. On the bridge of the Goryeo Fist, Tae-ho watched as Admiral Park's flagship, the Iron Mountain, moved into position. The Admiral's face appeared on the main screen. Captain Kim, report on the human response to our arrival, Park ordered. His voice was cold and hard. Tae-ho stood straight. The humans have not attacked, Admiral. They have asked for talks. There is nothing to talk about. They will accept our terms or face the consequences. Tae-ho took a deep breath. Sir, I believe we should meet with them. The humans are not what we expected. They are dangerous, Park cut him off. Your reports show they fight among themselves. They change their environment without care. They spread rapidly. We cannot allow such a species to threaten our position. After the call ended, Sung-min came to Tae-ho's side. The Admiral has made up his mind, the science officer said quietly. He sees humans as a threat to Nexan pride. Pride should not start a war, Tae-ho replied. Later that day, Admiral Park sent his demands to Earth's leaders. The humans had 24 hours to accept the terms. No space travel beyond their solar system, sharing all technology with the Nexans, and allowing Nexan bases on Earth. The human response came from President Han. We cannot accept these terms. They would make us prisoners in our own solar system. We seek peace and friendship, not submission. Admiral Park called his ship captains to the Iron Mountain for a meeting. In a large room with a view of Earth, he explained his plan. Tomorrow, we will show the humans our power. We will destroy one of their space stations, the one near their moon. No humans will be harmed, but they will see what we can do. Then they will accept our terms. The other captains nodded. Only Tae-ho spoke up. Admiral, this is a mistake. The humans will not submit because of threats. They survive their world through courage and determination. They will fight back. Park's eyes narrowed. And what would you suggest, Captain Kim? That we let them spread their chaos across the galaxy? That we admit they are our equals? Yes, Tae-ho said simply. They are different from us, but equally strong in their own way. The Admiral turned away. The attack will proceed as planned. Return to your ship, Captain. That night, Tae-ho could not sleep. He thought of the human children who had touched his skin with such curiosity. He thought of Captain Lee and Dr. Han who had welcomed him to their world. He thought of the millions of humans who knew nothing of Nexan pride but who would suffer in a war. In the morning, Tae-ho called his senior officers together. The Admiral will attack the human space station in 3 hours, he told them. I believe this is wrong. The humans deserve better from us. They are fellow Deathworlders who survived against impossible odds. Jinwoo frowned. What are you saying, Captain? That we should disobey orders? I am saying we should do what is right. Tae-ho looked at each officer. I will not fire on the humans, but I cannot ask any of you to risk your careers by joining me. To his surprise, Sung-min stepped forward. The humans should be studied, not attacked. I stand with you, Captain. One by one, most of the officers agreed. Only Jinwoo remained uncertain. The humans attacked our shuttle, he reminded them. A small group did. Tae-ho corrected him. Just as only some Nexans want this war. Most humans want peace. Finally, Jinwoo nodded. I will follow you, Captain. But I hope you are right about the humans. As the time for the attack grew near, the Nexan fleet moved into position. The Iron Mountain led the way with the other ships following in formation, all except the Goryeo Fist, which remained in its original orbit. Captain Kim, move your ship into position, Admiral Park ordered over the communication system. Tae-ho stood on his bridge, his crew watching him. I cannot do that, Admiral. I cannot be part of an unprovoked attack. "This is treason," Park shouted. "I will have you removed from command." "You are making a mistake," Taeho said calmly. "The humans are not our enemies." The Admiral cut the communication. Moments later, 2 Nexan ships broke formation and moved toward the Goryo Fist. "They're going to force us to comply," Jinwoo said, his hand on his weapon. Taeho nodded. "Prepare for—" He was interrupted by a loud alarm. On the main screen, dozens of small objects appeared, moving rapidly from Earth toward the Nexan fleet. "What are those?" Taeho asked. Sungmin checked his instruments. "Small craft, hundreds of them, and energy readings. They're armed." The humans had launched their counterattack. Their ships were smaller and less advanced than the Nexan vessels, but there were many of them. They moved in strange patterns, making them hard to target. "The humans are attacking all Nexan ships except ours," Jinwoo reported, sounding surprised. On the screen, they watched as human vessels swarmed around the other Nexan ships. They fired weapons that disrupted the Nexan's shields and engines. They didn't try to destroy the ships, just disable them. "They're fighting intelligently," Taeho said with growing respect. "They know they can't match our power, so they're using their numbers and speed instead." The battle raged for 2 hours. 3 Nexan ships lost power. 2 more lost weapons control. Even the Iron Mountain was surrounded by human vessels that darted in and out like insects, too quick to hit. Then, something unexpected happened. A new signal appeared, coming from Mars, the red planet next to Earth. "It's some kind of energy pulse," Sungmin reported, his voice tense. "It's affecting our systems." Across the Nexan fleet, ships began to lose power. Engines failed. Weapons went offline. Screens flickered and went dark. "The humans had a hidden weapon on Mars," Jinwoo said in awe. "They prepared for this." Only the Goryo Fist was spared. As the other Nexan ships drifted powerless in space, Admiral Park's angry face appeared on Taeho's screen. "What have you done, Kim? Did you tell them about our attack?" "I warned them that you were coming," Taeho admitted, "but this response is their own. They are more resourceful than you believed." With the Nexan fleet disabled, Captain Lee requested to come aboard the Goryo Fist for talks. Admiral Park was brought along, his pride deeply wounded. In the ship's meeting room, humans and Nexan sat across from each other. President Han spoke first. "We do not want war with the Nexan people. We want peace, but we will not surrender our freedom." Admiral Park's voice was bitter. "You defeated our ships. What do you want now? Revenge?" Captain Lee shook his head. "Not revenge, understanding. We disabled your ships without destroying them. We could have killed you all, but that is not our way." President Han leaned forward. "We propose an alliance between our peoples. We are both Deathworlders. We both know what it means to fight for survival. Together we could achieve great things." The Admiral looked at the humans with new eyes. "You had us at your mercy, yet you offer friendship?" "Yes," Lee said simply. "That is the human way. We can be fierce enemies or loyal friends. We prefer the second option." In the days that followed, a new agreement was reached. The Nexan ships were repaired. The humans shared their Mars defense system, showing that it was only designed to disable, not destroy. The Nexan High Command, impressed by human ingenuity, withdrew their demands. A month later, Taeho stood with Captain Lee on the observation deck of a new space station, one built together by humans and Nexans in Earth orbit. "Our peoples are learning from each other," Lee said. "Your strength and our adaptability. A good combination." Taeho nodded. "The rest of the galaxy won't know what hit them." "Do you think there are other Deathworlders out there?" Lee asked, looking at the stars. "Perhaps, but now I know something important. Being a Deathworlder isn't just about having a strong body or tough skin. It's about the will to survive, to adapt, to overcome. Your people taught mine that lesson. Below them, Earth turned slowly, its blue oceans and white clouds peaceful from this distance. Nexus was many light years away, yet Taeho felt closer to it now than ever before. 2 death worlds had created 2 different kinds of survivors. And now those survivors were allies. the galaxy would never be the same.